Happy early Halloween to all of you! Welcome to Byte-Sized Coding Time with the Port Moody Public Library. Now today we're going to talk about something in Scratch that has the same name as the thing that makes Halloween one of my favorite holidays. Candies! No, he said no. It's actually costumes, apparently. Apparently, we're talking about costumes today. They don't have candies yet in Scratch. I think they should. But anyway, today we're going to talk about costumes in Scratch. Now, costumes in Scratch is much more than having pirate hat, pirate clothes, a bird on your shoulder, and pretend to be a pirate. It is what you need if you want your story or your game to have realistic animation. If you want to show changes in how your sprite look like, to show, for example, movement, like say they're flying, right? If you want to show your sprite is flying, it's much more than just moving the sprite from one spot to another, but you have to show that it's flying by flapping its wings, probably, right? Like that's how you can say, oh yeah, the sprite is flying. Your wings don't flap very well, but anyway, like that, flying wings. Or give you showing your sprites, and then they're walking along and they're kind of having a bad day. They're kind of like sad. They have a frown on their face. And then suddenly they see a mountain of Halloween candy and their face just light up and they're like, yeah, candies, right? That facial expression change from the frown to the happy face is a different look for your sprite. It's a different look for your sprite, which is also called a different costume. So you need a different costume, a different look to show the frown face and the happy face, or to show the wings, different wings kind of flapping, right? Or even if you want to show, for example, that mountain of candy that you found, that you're going to eat it, right? You're going to sit down and it's like, 7 o'clock and this started off with a mountain. But then as the time goes by, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. That change from the big mountain to the smaller, to the smaller, to the smaller, that can also be shown in Scratch by having a different look for that candy. The big giant mountain to the small one. And that change in the look is also a costume. So you can see costumes are so important if you are wanting to show different changes in movement, in facial expressions, or even just like I said, the different sizes of a mountain of candy. You need a costume. So how do you create a costume and how do you code it so that it looks like there is an animation? Well, let's take a look in Scratch. Alright, so I have started by clicking on create to create just a new project here. And I am going to remove my mascot for now. Bye-bye, Scratch Cat. And moving myself over here, I'm going to start with choosing a new sprite. So I'm going to click on the sprite, the Scratch Cat icon here. And of course, like there is always a whole collection, a whole library of sprites that you can choose from in Scratch. Now, if you want to know what costume the sprites come with, because many of these sprites already have some costumes to help you with some of the animation that you might be planning to do. Well, how do I know what kind of costumes they have? Well, just move your mouse over one of the sprite and you will see that it will show you like sort of the changes in costume. So let's say I want to take a look at this bear walking. If I put my mouse over the bear, you can see that it is moving right now, right? And it looks like the bear is actually walking. Well, how do they do that? Let's see. I'm going to click on this sprite to choose it. And then now I have my bear sprite here. I'm going to go over to the costume section on the left-hand side and just click on the costume tab here. And you can see this bear actually has 8 costumes. And they're all different looks for this bear. So if I take a look on the first one, so right now we're on the first costume here, watch the legs, especially of this bear as I move through the different costume, okay? So there's a costume number 1, costume number 2, 3, 4, and you can see the position of the legs change just a little bit, right? You can see this is different from this one and from that one, right? And together, when you put them all together and make the bear go through the look one by one by one, it looks like the bear is walking. And that will help us create this illusion that the bear is walking. That animation, that walking motion is done by having multiple costumes and going from one to the other. So same thing here. Let's I'm gonna remove this bear for now. Let's take a look at another one. So say for example this batter here. If I choose this batter, again there are, let's take a look at the costumes by clicking on the costumes tab. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this time they only have 4 costumes, but if I go through these, if I click on them and just go through them one by one, what does it look like? It looks like the batter is trying to hit a ball that is flying at them, right? And again, changing how the character look, changing how your sprite look by giving them a new costume is going to help you create that motion. All right. Okay, so that's great. But right now, if I just go back here, if I don't click on anywhere, I click on the green flag, well, it's not moving. Well, of course it's not moving because we don't have any code yet. So let's see how we can code the sprite to go through the motion, right? So that it looks like it's moving. So let's choose, because it's Halloween, let's choose a skeleton costume. So I can go down the list to find my skeleton, or of course I can also use the search box to look for a skeleton, and there is my skeleton right here. And you can see if I put my mouse over it again, it showed me that there are a couple of costumes and it looks like it is dancing, I guess. Dancing skeleton. Okay, let's go with a dancing skeleton. So I'm going to click on that to choose this sprite, and now I have my skeleton here. I'm going to put it right in the middle, and maybe let's give it a backdrop. I think it needs to be have a stage. How about this concert stage? All right, perfect. Giant skeleton on a concert stage. Okay, so what I want is just the skeleton to do a little dance on the stage here for us for Halloween. Now, again, we need to code it. So how do we code it? Well, first of all, let's grab our favorite starting point, our green flag, which you can find in the events blocks. So we have when the green flag is click. All right. And I'm just going to make the skeleton dance forever because we always love forever. Things that go on and on and on and on and on. So I'm going to go into control to find our forever sandwich. Right? Remember, anytime you see a sandwich, anything that you put inside, the computer is going to go through those blocks one by one and do that forever and ever. So it's just going to keep repeating it. So what I want this to do is I want to go the computer to automatically switch from this costume to the second, to the third, and to the fourth. Okay, so it's changing how the skeleton looks. So if I'm changing how the sprite look, I need to go back to my code and I need to go to the purple block, which is the looks block. So let's click on that. And you will see that there are 2 different blocks here that has something to do with costume. So one of them is called switch costume, and then the other one is called next costume. Now, the difference basically is from the switch costume one, you can see I have choices of costume. So I can specify, I can select which specific costume I want the skeleton to have, right? Which is the look that I want the skeleton to have. Now, this will be useful if you're doing, for example, like a smiley face and a frowny face kind of thing, right? You want to say, see a mountain of candy, smiley face. No mountain of candy, frown face, right? So you can use that as, you can select a specific kind of costume. But in this case, because it's doing a dance, I just wanted to go through like from one costume to the other. So I don't want to have to like switch to this one and then select another one. I don't need to do that. I just want to use the next costume. So it go from one to another. So if I put this next costume block right in the forever sandwich, what it will do is it will just go through the costume one by one, from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, go back up 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will just do that forever and forever. So let's go back to the code, and then I'm going to click on the green flag and see. Let's see what happens. Let's see our little dance from the skeleton. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. Stop, stop, stop. Okay, a little too fast. And you probably know why, because computers do things really quickly, a lot faster than what our eyes can see. So if I just do this, it just looks like it's too fast. I can't see the graceful dancing movements of my skeleton. So what I need is to make it change costume and then just wait a little bit. Give me a little bit of a time to admire my skeleton. So I am going to go into control, right? And then just grab one of those wait block here. And what this now does is that it will go to the next costume and then wait, and then go to the next costume and wait, go to the next costume and wait. And that way it gives me a little bit of time just to see what the costume looks like, so that it makes maybe the dancing motion a little smoother. So I am going to change this actually, because 1 second is quite fast. So I'm going to make it into maybe like a 0.2 seconds. Okay, and let's see how that looks. And you, again, the numbers of how long you want to put in, this number entirely depends on how you want your dance to look like, right? So you can always do a test, put in a number and see whether you like it or not. So let's give it a play. Much better. You can see the skeleton's actually dancing. I love the timing for this. So that's perfect. So that is exactly what I want to do. So all right, so now that is how you can change costume. Now, like I said, many of the Sprite already come with costumes. So this one came with 4. Remember, we saw the bear one just now has like about 8 costumes, and each one of them is going to be a little different. But you can also create your own costume. But how many? How many do I need to do? Well, I have another example here. Let's take a look. So on this one here, what I have is a bat, and it's loading my project. So I've got a bat here. So let's see if we can spot the difference between these two. So I have bat number 1. So it's doing a flying motion. All right, so that's bat number 1, and bat number 2. All right. What do you notice the difference between these two bats? Well, bat number 1, when it flies, it's a little stiff, right? Whereas if I look at bat number 2, it's very smooth. Well, what is the difference between these two? Well, let's take a look. This is bat number 1 right there. If I take a look at the costumes, you notice that, wait, there's only 2 costumes. One of them with the wings really high up, and then the second one with it really low down. There's a very big change between these 2 costumes here. But if I look at bat number 2 and look at the costumes, you can see now this bat actually has 5 different costumes. Okay, and the change between one to the other is very small. You can see the wings here. It goes from here to here. It's a very small change. So you can tell from the smaller the change it is, the smoother that motion is. Okay, and so again, it depends on what kind of effect you are trying to achieve. So just remember, if you have more costume like this one here, that your movement is going to go a lot smoother. But that of course also means it takes a little bit more work, because now you have to do 5 instead of just 2. So depending on what kind of effect you're trying to achieve, you need the number of costumes might change. But that is how you can change your costume, code the costume change, and make realistic animation and movements in your game or your story. So that's it for today. Well, thank you again for joining me on this bite-sized coding ham. I hope you have a great Halloween. Lots of candies and code some costume, and give you make a nice costume change, and you did a scratch project, please show us and put a link in our comments down below, and then share your project with us so that we can see what kind of cool costume change you make. So until next week, we'll see you again. Again, have a great Halloween and see you next week.